none like we haven't seen in a while. We have really been enjoying moving from one place to another without some much traffic. But today it has decided to bring us blessings, and we are grateful for that. And we look forward to good conversations nonetheless. So my name is Grace Njula. I'm an HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. And it is interesting to be here tonight. I'm very, very excited and, of course, looking forward to this conversation. Oh, yeah, so somebody saying power just came. Okay, excellent. If you know where I'm having to take the call, you will respect my commitment to bringing information. So yeah, you are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions, which is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We are here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We do this in partnership with a number of people. Catherine, are you okay? Okay, all right. So you can load again. We are here with my co-host, who is Catherine Sidandi, our sign language interpreter. She supports us in making us inclusive. And if you know anyone who has hearing impairment, please let them know there's something good that happens here and that they can actually just log in and they will be able to follow through the conversation. Tonight, of course, we are hosting Milton. I'll let you know more about it. But we wouldn't do this if it were not a fun partnership with a number of organizations. And allow me to just give them a shout out because we need to also recognize their support. We have Pathway Solutions. Pathway Solution Services is the HR consulting and training firm. They actually have trainings loaded on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. And they have discounted rates for the followers of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. So you can check them out on their website, Pathway Solution Services. You can see the trainings they have on the LMS. And the beauty about them is that they also give a certificate at the end of the session. So pay a fee of like 2,000 Kenya shillings and you take your time, study probably in a month. You finish, you get your certificate and you go and apply the knowledge that you get. We have Profiles International. Profiles International, I call them the people. They're the only people who are Geno certified to certify people in emotional intelligence. We have Star Discover. Star Discover is an insurance company located here in Nairobi. If you're looking for any insurance or for all your insurance needs, then Star Discover are your people. And then we have Nile Front Cottages. For those in Uganda, please visit Ginger. Ginger is so beautiful. And you have an advantage of Nile Front Cottages. They're the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful places I've been to. The views are amazing. The rooms are awesome. It's just an amazing, amazing place. It's right in Ginger, and oh my God, it is amazing, amazing, amazing. We have CPF Consulting. CPF Consulting is a consulting company. They have actually trainings that they have been sharing. If you're looking to do HR for non-HR, they actually have a session coming up in Zanzibar for leaders. Then they have another one coming up at Fridin Hotel in Mombasa, and among other things. If you're also looking for fund managers, then CPF also do the same. The CPF itself, financial services, they do that. It is the mandate for CPF Consulting is to carry out training and consulting services. It runs programs through its training academy, HR training and consulting management, and business advisory services. They have pre-retirement trainings, finance for non-finance, environment, social governance, leadership summit, HR for non-HR, metrics, and risk management. So that's CPF Consulting. We have Ndovu. You guys listened to Ndovu the other day. We missed our session on investments, alternative investments. Please check them out on our YouTube channel. They were here and they really wowed us with their products. Then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions. This company is HR and PR company in Kampala. It is run by my good friend Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake, we are honored and privileged to have you as one of our partners. We really, really appreciate your partnership, and we appreciate that you let people in Uganda also follow us. So we really, really appreciate you, Herbert Zake. Then we have Weekly, we have Kapula Mintito, we have Vanessa, we have Elsamia, and we have Essence Park. Now, I want to invite you guys to an exciting opportunity coming up next month. We know that it's IWD, that is International Women's Day, that's coming up. And we have a breakfast meeting planned out for you. And one of our speakers is actually Sarah Rickson. I don't know whether you guys know Sarah All right. Sorry. So yeah, if you haven't booked this event, please, this is your time to do that. So join us for that event on the 9th of March. 9th of March, it's a Saturday, at the breakfast from 8:30 a.m. and we'll be there for up to about 11:30. If you're a golfer, then you can also enjoy the greens and enjoy the rest of the day. All right. So with us tonight is none other than Milton Owor. He is the head of people and culture at NSSF Uganda. He comes here with his heart as an executive coach because Milton, I've been getting a lot of questions from people who want to give up because they're not getting jobs that are aligned to their careers. And then others who just wondering, what if I quit this job and go to the other company? What if it's a toxic place? What if they don't appreciate my input? What if? And tonight we are looking to answer that question. But to tell you more about himself, then Milton, if you can hear me, you can turn on your camera and you can introduce yourself as I fish out your presentation.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening to all the friends who are on the webinar today. I don't know if I should say any more. I think Grace has said what I do for a living here in Kampala. They call me Chief People and Culture Officer for NSSF. Prior to that, I've done a couple of things in different organizations. In my private time, I do executive coaching, which is what Sarah was referring to. So yeah, 3-4 days ago, when Herbert contacted me to be here for this engagement, initially I thought I wouldn't make it because I'm traveling on work issues. But Herbert is such a good friend of mine, and I've said no to him once or twice before. So I said, let's do it. So this evening, I'm so much looking forward to the conversation with all of you who have spared time. 8 o'clock time in East Africa, 7 o'clock here, to spend, it's now remaining 40 minutes for us to spend together between now and top of the hour. So I'm looking forward. So as soon as Grace gets my slides up, I'm good to go. So as you can see, I had a couple of slides to talk through, but I'll go quickly because if this is 20 minutes after the hour, I'll try and do it in about 20 minutes so that we have the last 20 minutes to have a conversation. So Grace, if you go to the next slide, please. That next slide talks about the things I wanted to talk about. Sorry, go back, just I'll be letting you know when we move, Grace, yeah. Those are the 5 things I wanted to talk about. I introduced myself as coming from NSSF, so we talk a little bit about NSSF. Then we'll spend about 2-3 minutes talking about careers, focusing on the current reality. And then the third piece of the conversation would be about how do we take control about what's happening in ourselves. And then for me, the most important one is the leadership role that you got to play, because at the end of the day, you people are here in your different capacities, you're leaders of yourself and of the people around you. And then we conclude. So next slide talks briefly about NSSF. Grace. It really talks. Yeah, if you kindly move to the next slide. I'm timing myself and I want to make sure we do this in 20 minutes so that we can allow the last 20 minutes for the conversation. Yeah, so that's who we are as NSSF. The big thing there is we derive our mandate from an act of parliament. We are regulated by what we call the Uganda Retirement Benefits Authority, and we cover everyone between age 16 and 55. Okay, we go for what we stand for. Those are the things. We want to be the social security provider of choice. And the things that make us tick is we ensure we put our customers first because we look after people's money. Trust is the most important thing in our lives. And for us to be able to add value every day, it's about making sure we seek new ways of delivering value to you. And the whole is better than one because we're a team of 600 people at the fund, and we keep ourselves lean and clean to deliver increased value to the customer. So that's what keeps us going. And the last slide about NSSF, Grace, is their business model. I can see on the call, there are many friends in Kampala, but I also see many friends I worked with in Nairobi those years when I was there. So just briefly, what happens at NSSF? We have about 700,000 members who contribute money to the fund every month. The member contributes 5% and the employer matches it with 10. Together, that totals about 160 billion that you give us at the fund every month. So when that money comes to the fund, the expectation is for us to invest it in the highest return investment portfolios, which also balances it with the risk associated. So most of your money is invested in what we call fixed income. The other second piece, 15%, 15, 16, we do in equities, which means buying shareholding in highly profitable companies in East Africa. And the other 7%, we do real estate, which are all the buildings you see owned by NSSF. At the end of every year, we generate slightly over 1 trillion shillings in profit. That's what comes to the fund, and we use about 1% to run overheads, which is staff costs, IT, old rental, whatever. It takes about 1%, and the balance of it is paid back to the members as interest, which is declared year on year. So that's it about NSSF. If we move to the next slide, Grace. So the IT thing is a bit slow that side, so I can't see. Yeah, that's the next slide. Let's spend some time talk about this, careers, what it is and all that. For the longest time, what we have all believed in career is that, you finish school, you get your first job, do it for 20, 30 years, rising through the ranks. And at the end of the day, you retire when you've reached the top of it or as close to the top as possible. That's what typically we have defined as career. And when somebody talks about career growth, what it means is the job I started with in day one, I managed to grow 10, 4, 5 steps. I reached the top before I retired. But we all know that the world we live in has been changing really rapidly. And that description is no longer what career is and what career growth represents. The linearity of growth, i.e., moving to the different hierarchy in the organization, that has been challenged. Many people come into jobs these days, they do it for 3, 4, 5 years, they make some little savings and go out of careers to go start something else where their real passion is. Other people go out to do business, as others go out to just say, I want to discover myself. So it's no longer the traditional thing about starting at the bottom and working your way to the top. The second thing is that many organizations now are going flatter. Leadership styles of these days means you want to make decision making as close to the people as possible. Where previously we had 10 or so ladders to rise, many organizations have flattened it to 4 or 5. At NSSF, we've reduced it to 5. You start from officer, you go to manager, you go to senior manager, you go to executive and your MD. So many organizations are having flatter organizations or flatter structures. And what does that mean? It means a lot of people are getting frustrated. And the frustration is because they are not growing in their careers the way they expected to grow it as per the definition, number 1, up there. So we go quickly to the next slide and see what's happening now. A recent research was done in a number of companies across Africa, in Europe and the US. And the shocking numbers is that a whole 70% of people are doing jobs they are not happy with. They are sticking in it, they are doing it, I don't know for what reason, but they are not happy with their jobs. As if that's not bad enough, 43% of people surveyed said they would change jobs if an opportunity came up for them. And another whole 61% of people said they don't feel they are growing fast enough in their jobs. Now, if you got a group of people, majority of whom 70 are not happy in the jobs they are doing, you got a whole 43% who are looking to move. They are only not moving because there is no opportunity coming up. And you got 61 who think they are not growing as fast as they could. What that leads to are relationship issues. People began to look for who to blame. Is it my line manager who is sitting on me, who is not giving me the development I need so as to grow? Is it somebody blocking my opportunities? It leads to people asking questions. Is it my colleagues bad mouthing me? Is it organization politics? People look at HR. Is it somebody in HR who is not creating for me internal growth opportunities? So you got people asking lots of questions. And with that, it leads to that level of low engagement we see down there. Low engagement means you're doing the job, but your heart is not in it. You and I know any employee who is doing a job and their heart is not in it, their level of productivity gets very seriously compromised. Their level of performance gets seriously compromised. So you're compounding an issue that already exists. You say you're not growing. You say your career is not getting higher, but you're not helping it because you're not giving the very best of yourself into the job, and you're not giving the best of yourself because you're not engaged. Secondly, people begin to develop self doubt, a weak relationship with yourself. You begin to ask yourself, am I not good enough? Am I not as good as John or Mary? Is there something Mary is doing that I should be doing? People decide to start developing weak relationships with themselves, and this just puts you in the same spiral we talked about. If you don't have self-confidence in yourself, then the way you present yourself, the way you come across to people, just reinforces what's in your mind. And then inner satisfaction. When you have that inner energy in yourself, it portrays in what you do, it portrays in the relationships you have with your people at work, even with the people outside work, and in relationships yourself. You begin to have resentment of everything around you. And keep it in mind, every time you do that yourself, the biggest loser is yourself, because then you are what's in your mind. If your mind is positive about you, if your mind is positive about what's around you, that is the positive energy that goes out and that attracts. We all know it, that positive energy attracts positive energy. Negative energy attracts negative energy. So in your circles, you'll see people who job hop. Every 2 years, 3 years, they are moving to another job. And after 2 years, they are finding another job else to do. Inner restlessness. And that's why the number of people, as you see up there, who are not happy with their jobs, 70%, people who want to move, people who think they are not growing fast enough. As we progress in this conversation, I would like to be drawing your attention to the fact that, is the problem the jobs or your employers, or is the problem inside of you? So let's move to the next slide, Grace. So usually, for people, I know many people on this call who are HR practitioners like me. Whenever we want to advise people on career growth, usually we say that first item. You tell people you're now in point A, you tell me what you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years. What's your point B? So if somebody knows I'm at the beginning point, in 5 years, I want to be HR director or the MD, we tell them identify the gap. What are the skills, competences, experiences you have now? And what do you need? What skills, competences, and experiences you need to make you fit into the job of an MD, your point B. So we tell guys, if you know the gap between what you have now and what you need to have to realize your career aspirations, then focus your attention in bridging those gaps. And when people tell us that, the gap is so big, how will I make it? We tell guys, man, don't worry about that. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. If you commit yourself to improving your skills by even just 1% per week, 1% in a week is a small percentage, isn't it? So if you do that consistently for 52 weeks in a year, you will have improved yourself 52% in a year. And if you do that consistently, that's how your career growth goes faster and faster. We tell people, focus your learning. If you know what are the gaps you want to fill, then make sure you focus your learning to specifically address those gaps. Because we know it, there is so much out there to learn. There are so many books you can read. There are so many articles on the web to read. So if you don't focus yourself, you can end up being that footballer who kicks the ball whichever direction the ball is facing. And yet, the more you concentrate your efforts, the more your realistic chance of scoring. So that's what typically we tell guys. Yeah, know your point A, know your point B, know the gap, focus your attention, one baby step at a time. Eventually, you get there. And then we tell guys, get a coach, get a mentor to help you keep on track, so that even when you get some roadblocks on the way, there's somebody you can talk to who can help you uncover whatever it is. Sounds very decent, right? The problem is that even with all that advice we give people, remember the statistics I started with, 70% of people are still restless. 40 plus want to change their jobs. And they know this. This is the information I've just shared with you. Many people know it. The medicine for growing my career is knowing how to build the skills required for me to be whatever it is that we want. So the question now comes, if people know what it takes to grow their careers, if people know what actions they need to take to get to their point B, if people have access to all the learning and all the support and all the coaching that they need to be able to get there, why is it that we still have so many people who are so unhappy with the jobs? And that's where it now takes us to the whole thing about shining the torch inside of ourselves. Let's go to the next slide. Many of you have heard this thing called purpose. And as that quote by Thomas Cattle says, the person without a purpose is like a ship sailing without a rudder. You know, if you are, I mean, those big ships are in the middle of the ocean, every side you see is big water. The only reason ships get to their destination is because they have a rudder that gives them the direction of where to go. How many of us have strong rudders inside of us that gives us the guidance of where we need to go and how we want to get there? How many of us are clear what our purpose is? You know, Grace, if we go to the next slide, please. How many of us are clear what our purpose is? You know, these days people talk a lot about purpose. Purpose, what's your purpose in life? But really, what's purpose? Purpose is your fundamental reason for being. It's the reason you exist. All of us are on this world not just to float where the wind wants to take us, not just to float where circumstances of life takes us. We are here for a purpose. A recent study indicates that the majority of people live their lives from day one to the last day on earth, and they are not quite clear what their purpose on earth is. So, what is your purpose in life? Or what is purpose? It's that thing which you are anchored on, your ultimate guide, something which even subconsciously, there are things which people, it's you, it's the real thing, who you are, stemming from your inner being. What are those things you were born to do? What are those fundamental things that defines you? What's that magic that makes you stick? We all wake up in the morning with some energy in us. What is it that gives you the inner energy in you? What is it that you strive for? What is it that's your reason to live, or something you are even willing to die for? Because if you don't have a clear purpose for your life, then chances are that the satisfaction you derive from the job you do or the career you crave will never be anchored on anything. There's a good book by a guy called Viktor Frankl. The book is titled Man's Search for Meaning. And in it, he has that quote which I like. The person who has a why, if you have a clear reason of why you live, you can almost endure anything in of the how. So purpose, that's what it is. Let's move on to the next one. So again, some quotes that I like: purpose is the reason you journey, and passion is the fire. Ask yourself, hopefully, as we go through these slides, what is your reason to live? Even as you look at career moves and career progression and career journeys, are you doing it because of the money you want to earn? Are you doing it because it has some inner meaning, something more powerful in your life? Is it something that aligned with what you're anchored on? Like that guy says, more and more people these days have a means to live, but they have no meaning to live for. And that's the emptiness that drives a lot of insatiable hunger for people to move from one job to the other, from one career to the other, because you haven't got the anchor of what it is that you're looking for. If we move to the next one, Grace. Let's move to the next one as well, in the interest of time. Grace? Are you there, Grace?
The next one?
Okay. Yeah, that one.
Yes,
So,
can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. So sometimes when we chat with people, and I get the chance to talk to different people, one-on-one and wherever, people say, but why is purpose so important? Why does it matter? I think we've talked about some of this in the previous slide. If you live your life without a lighthouse is that thing again which guides people, something you're moving towards, something. Sorry, Grace, back. Something that guides where you want to go. One slide back, Grace. Then you never quite know whether you are headed in the right direction. Sorry, backwards, Grace. Poor technology is not doing us good. Back slide, Grace.
Let me know when to stop.
Just go back one more.
Which one?
One back, one slide back. That one. Just stop there. Oh no. One more slide. Grace, you go
Yeah.
to the beginning.
Yes, you kept saying go back, go back.
Okay, that's it.
Which slide?
Move
This
one
one?
more slide. Move. It's not taking control. We finished that. We finished that. We finished that. We finished that. That's the one. Why purpose matters. Why purpose matters. That's the one, yeah. So that point about having the lighthouse, something that guides your journey in life. The world is changing, VUCA, volatile, uncertain, all those things. Things are changing so fast around us. If you don't have something to anchor yourself on, something to anchor your life, your career on, then you get lost with the world. Every organization you go to where there is a high level of employee engagement it tends to be organizations where people are anchored on their purpose. The level of loyalty is a lot higher. The level of productivity, the level of performance is a lot higher. If you start by fixing yourself, and I'm saying fixing as in sorting out yourself in the inner self, the universe sorts you out. We talked earlier on about the positive energy you give out is the positive energy you receive, and you can only give out what you have. So your productivity goes up if you're anchored. Meaningful work, meaningful, satisfying work. We'll talk in the next slide. The biggest thing is starts with you having your purpose in life. If you're able to link your purpose in life with the work that you do, then there's a lot of meaning in the work that you do. You're doing it not just because of the end month salary, you're doing it because it has inner meaning, inner resonance with yourself. And anybody who approaches work not just because it's something you do for a living, but something that resonates with something inside of you, you give it a lot better of yourself. Those of you who have met people who are anchored in their purpose, you'll know that they are people who are the most authentic. They stand by certain values, and those are the values that guide everything. They will tell you no, and they don't feel guilty about it. They will say yes, even when everybody is saying no, because that resonates with their values. Organizational alignment, work, whatever. But the most important thing is better mental and physical health. If you are at peace with yourself, if you are at peace with the circumstances around you, your mental health, your physical health is at its best. And we know it, the more you are better with your mental health and physical health, the more you give out and the more you are in control of what happens in your career. Next slide, Grace. So I'm coming towards the end, and I'm hoping the point has come across so far that I hope the point has come across so far that you, sorry, you have got to take control. If you want to drive your career to wherever you want to be, it starts with sorting you, the inside of you. And sorting the inside of you means leading you. You know, you lead yourself before you can lead others. All of us in human resources and in whatever else that we are doing, one way or the other, we are leaders in what we are doing. So it's important that we exercise a certain piece about leadership of ourselves. So how do we get more deliberate about leading with purpose? And those are the last slides I'm going to show. Next one, Grace. Thank you. Becoming a leader with purpose. If you look at the top 10, 20 performing companies in the world, and you look at the characteristics of the leaders of those companies, like they say the attributes that characterize leaders that are able to unleash the kind of human magic you see in the most high performing companies, there are those 5 things. And hopefully, in the next 6 or so minutes, I want to talk about those 5 things so that hopefully we can pick 1 or 2 things out of it and see how you can apply it to yourself so that your actions lead to what? Clarity of purpose, clarity of role, clarity about whom you serve, being driven by values, and authenticity. So let's go to them. Then the first one, clarity of purpose. Grace, next slide. Now, there are many words on this slide, and I won't talk about it too much. But let's just say that work, we spend a huge chunk of our time doing work. Whatever the work you do, whether you are in business, whether you're in corporate world, whether you're in private work, work is an essential element of our humanity. And it's a key for our search for meaning as individuals and a way to find fulfillment in our work. All of us want to find fulfillment in the lives that we live. And for the vast majority of us, you get that fulfillment through the work that you do, whatever that work is. Yeah. Work that serves a higher purpose, as I said earlier on, can be a fundamental part of our quest for meaning and fulfillment. If your work serves a higher purpose, it's a fundamental part of your quest for meaning and fulfillment because there is something you stand for and you see your work as helping you or being aligned with that thing that you stand for. You're not just working like a machine which is switched on to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things and it's switched off to have that. As human beings, meaningful work is the core of what makes a difference between the highly effective individuals and those ones that are not. Now, one of the biggest thing every day is your ability to connect what you do every day with a bigger sense of why you do it and how it helps you to infuse the energy, drive, and direction. Being clear about your own purpose, encouraging people around you to be clear about the same helps you to connect your personal purpose and the work that you do. And like we said earlier on, the way you approach work, if you approach it as something bigger than just the activities that you do or the strategies that you execute or whatever it is that you do, if you approach it with a bigger meaning beyond just the activity, the chances that intrinsic commitment to it, your intrinsic engagement to it gets a lot higher. And that's what shouts for you. The next one, number 2, is Grace. Being clear about your role. Being clear about your role. Any leader at whatever level, if you're not able to create energy and momentum on the people around you, if you're not able to create energy and momentum inside of yourself, especially, and I'm saying especially when things are thick, then you know there's a big part of the equation that's not adding. Helping others to see possibilities and potential, inspiring them and creating hope is a big thing. And when I talk about others, always remember that others includes you. Because remember it, you can't give what you don't have. A lot of us, part of the frustration you saw of the 70% is because a lot of people at work expect their leaders to create everything for them. How much ownership do people take to create that energy inside of themselves is not there. Like this lady, better known for singing, Dolly Parton, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and become more, you are a leader. If your actions inspire you to dream more, to learn more, and become more, you are a leader of yourself, and not waiting for somebody to come and knock on yourself to say, dream more, Mary, dream more, Sarah or John, learn more, become more. That are things that are in our hands, all of us. So the third thing is being clear who you serve. A lot of us make the mistake to think we are in a job to serve ourselves or to serve our boss. The answer is no. The more you serve others, the more others serve you. The best leaders in this world don't climb their way to the top on the back of others. They are carried to the top, and serving others is how it happened. But the more you serve, one good turn always deserves another. The more you serve others, the more others serve you. We've seen examples of CEOs who are at the service of their people. And when things get really, really hard, people come around to serve you as well. If you're the selfish one who is serving only yourself, when things get tough, everybody lets you to sink alone. So the more we are generous with our gifts, our talents in service of others, the more others carry us to the top. And the fourth one, Grace, is being driven by values. This is one of the things which kills a lot of careers in organization. You've heard about organization politics, you've heard about backstabbing, we've heard about people telling conveniently, avoiding to tell the truth. Two things you can take with you: tell the truth and do what's right. Everyone knows doing what's right are those two things. Simple things: honesty, respect, responsibility, fairness, compassion. That's it. You go to any organization and ask them, what are your values? They will tell you many things around those 5 things. Either we are responsibility, fairness, in different words. But it's not just about saying what's right, it's about doing what's right. So for you to have more control on your career, whatever your career is, living by values, living by these values, explicitly promoting them and making sure they are part of your fabric. Yeah. And living by values also means knowing when to leave when you are not aligned with your environment. Now, if you leave a job or a career because of a misalignment between your values and what that organization espouses, you're living from a point of strength. If you leave a job or a career from a point of view, I'm searching for more, I'm searching for more, without having a clear anchor of what you're searching, you're living from a point of weakness. And finally, number 5, Grace, is being authentic. This is the hardest one to many of us. Many of us look at life or career growth, the key of which being doing what is expedient, what is right in the eyes of the decision makers, what's right in the circumstances. That serves you in the short term. The real thing is be yourself, the true self of who you are, the best version of yourself. That speaks much, much louder for you. Being vulnerable is a word we use so much, and authenticity, because people pretend to be who they are not. We all are human beings. We all have emotions. We all have days when we are strong and days when we are not strong. We have days when we have be a normal human being. The people around you expect you to be human too, and acknowledge what you don't know. That's how people know you are authentic. That's how people build trust in you. That's how people know that they can rely on you to make the right calls and to do the right thing. Vulnerability, we all know it, it's at the heart of social connection. If you connect human being to human being, great vulnerability. And social connection is at the heart of business success. It's at the heart of individual success. If you try to put a facade around yourself of what you're not, you are doing a big disservice to yourself. So those are things I wanted to share. Let me leave you with some questions, which is the last slide. This is Oprah Winfrey: follow your passion and your purpose will come. Because sometimes when I speak to people, they say, so Milton, how do you find your purpose? That's another conversation. But let me leave you with some questions. The last slide, go next one. Yes, leading with that. So yeah, that's the one. So those are some questions I want to leave you with. The way you lead yourself or the way you lead others has a profound influence on people. So the way you lead yourself, people find this concept a bit confusing to them, but you're the first leader of yourself. So the way you lead yourself has a profound influence on you and the people around you. So just reflect on the questions below. What kind of leader do you want to be? Which starts with saying, what kind of a leader do you think you are now? You know yourself better than anyone else knows you. So, what kind of leader are you now? What kind of leader do you want to be? Always remember that once you sort out the inside of you, the outside of you sorts out itself. Yeah. How would you describe your purpose? Do you have a purpose in life? What's your life purpose? If you don't have clarity on what your purpose in life is, I would encourage you very strongly to get purpose, because you can't live your life just swinging on the wind where the wind takes you. You have to have a purpose in life. That's going to be the anchor, that's going to be your lighthouse. So, what would you describe as your purpose? How would you describe your role and who you're serving? Are you inherently, these are questions you answer it for yourself. Are you working to serve yourself? Are you working just to serve your family and your friends? Or are you working to serve people around you, people who are serving you as well? What values define you? A lot of us on earth have no values. You do what is expedient for now. If my boss wants me to tell lies, that's what I'll do, because that's what rewards me. If my boss wants me to sound tough and whatever, that's what I'll do. Are those the values that define you? What are those things that you stand for? Like Mandela said in his book, things which you're willing to die for, to say, on this one, I am not going to compromise. This is what I stand for. What are those things for you? Yeah. How are you creating an environment for others to thrive and flourish? Or are you dimming the candles of everyone else so that yours is the one which lights? Whoever does that, you know that ultimately yours dies off as well. The more you light up the candles of others around you, the more they light up yours as well. And that's how people grow. Are you being authentic? Are you being authentic? Are you being approachable? Are you being vulnerable? Remember, you don't lift yourself up. It's the people around you that lift you up. If you want career growth, give other people opportunity to rise and flourish. That's how you rise up. Be the leader you are meant to be the change you want to be. And I think with that, I will stop at that, Grace, and say thank you very much to everyone who is on the call. Thank you for your indulgence.
So Milton, as you were speaking, and of course, quite a number of reflection areas, but there's a question that somebody said. He is in a career that he was forced, or he was told that it is marketable, but it is really not. They're not passionate about it. How can they now transition to something that they are passionate about?
It starts with defining what your passion is. What is it? What's your passion? Because yeah, what's your passion? Because your passion is anchored on your values, your passion is anchored on your purpose. If you've got clarity of that, then it becomes a lot easier for you to decide what you move into. If you are in a job that you don't like now and you just want to move for the sake of moving without having the clarity of what you really want, I can guarantee to you that after 2 years of moving, you'll be back on the same square that you are now. So start by defining what it is that you stand for. And then you can move when you know you're moving to the right thing.
Somebody, some of us were told these things 20 years ago, but it's never too late. Yeah, there's somebody who's commenting by that, and I have seen Joseph Ajag and Moses Bumbi on the call. Thank you guys for joining. So allow me to also pick another question. So how does one find balance, especially since majority of us are in fields we chose naively when we were younger, and also the guiding pillars were money and marketability. How does one find a balance on passion and the field they are currently in?
It's never too late to discover your purpose and live your purpose. It's never too late. They always say it's better late than never. So I don't know you God how many more years God has for you on earth. I would ask, I would encourage you to have much more grounding, much more inner happiness, much more contentment in those years that lie ahead of you by ensuring that you're fulfilling the purpose for which you are brought on this earth.
And some other question. We have people who, for example, took on HR, but now they are probably doing customer service or sales, and they're getting really frustrated because they have been applying for HR jobs, but they are not getting. But that is really what they want to do. But here they are stuck in customer service. Like, what would you tell them, Milton?
Somebody whose passion is nature, but they are stuck somewhere in customer service. What do I tell them? I see my good friends, HR gurus are here. Harriet Musoke, thanks for attending. Joseph Ajal, I'm sure some of them, Harriet, might have, Moses Mbubi, they might have better answers. But let me tell you what my thoughts are. Your passion clearly is in HR. I hope that's a passion, not because you studied books to read HR, but your heart, you see doing an HR job as a means for fulfilling your purpose in life. If your purpose in life is about holding people's hands and helping people realize their aspirations, if your purpose in life is about helping others grow, whatever it is, the first question you ask yourself is, the job you have at hand now is called customer service. How can you use that job to fulfill that purpose? You know, it's not about the name of the job you're doing that can give you that inner happiness. What is it that you could do as an HR practitioner that you can't do as as a customer service officer? You start with that. All of a sudden, there are people who go for a career, initially they didn't like it, but the passion, understanding what it is that drives them, what it is that energizes them, that is what is it that gives them meaning. You can find it in that job. You can find it in that job. So I would say to that person who asked the question is, let it not be about the job title, let it not be about the department, let it not be about the location of where the job is, but it be about how can I make this job help me fulfill the purpose for which I live?
That's quite profound. I like that answer because I think what you're trying to say is sometimes you just need to accept that this is our now and then work towards whatever it is that you're looking for. And also
Yeah,
find contentment in where we are at now, because I think that is also a journey to something else. And somebody on the chat is saying HR is about customer service. I totally agree with you.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I think um, I mean, it still serves. Now, Milton, what if you find yourself what if you're fired or you separated from your employer and you're looking to now transition into something else? Um, and nowadays, most people are just looking for experience. How do you build your pipeline into getting to really what you think your purpose is?
I don't know. How do you build your pipeline to getting towards what you think your purpose is? I don't know if I understood the
The
question,
journey,
Grace.
yes, like how is your journey? Because sometimes you know that working with people, for example, is what gives you inner joy. It's that light bulb. But then here you are stuck in engineering and just working with machines or IT, for example. So how do you probably transition into that area that gives you a lot of peace? Or you're in an area where you're dealing with people, but you really would rather be on the back office
Yeah.
than just dealing with people.
Yeah. I think that's very similar to, I think, what we said earlier on, because the circumstances of life is that somehow I'm not being uh, too religious about this, but God puts you in some place at some point. You are at some place at some point. Your purpose in life is defined. How shame. We are supposed to have an activity at 8 o'clock, and I see people are calling me. So I hope we are wrapping off in a short while. So where you are, the first question, anybody, I mean, I do some of the executive coaching. So the first question I would ask somebody is, what is it that your passion is? Yes, you are an engineer, you like being in front of people and interacting in crowds, but this job has put you in the back room. Yeah, job. So first, what's your passion? What's your passion? What's your purpose in life? Yeah, how can you use this job to live that purpose? Have you seen IT guys who go out of their way to connect with people to find out how are we serving you? How is that making your work easier? How can we do things different for you? You know, the fact that your job is stationed at the back office shouldn't stop you getting out to do what your heart really wants. I've known people who do their 8 to 5, things they probably don't like too much, but from 5 to 8 they are doing things that really gives them the joy, really gives them the energy, really gives them the, I guess the simple answer to the question, Grace, is you define your job in a way that gives you that satisfaction. Don't let the job define you or define the way you live your life. There will be cases where your values, not the job, your values and the values of the organization or the values of the people you're working with are completely at odds. That becomes toxic. The longer you stay there, the more you're killing yourself. You get out of that place because your values are not in line with the values of, and may God give you the wisdom to know when that's the situation. So if you don't
All right,
mind, we
I
take
know.
one last question. People, we're supposed to have a group dinner and everyone is waiting in the bus down there.
uh, okay, yes, we're probably just about to finalize. There are two questions here, but I think you can sum them up together. How do you find purpose in an organization where the leaders lack knowledge on leadership, neither have skills, and they keep on frustrating and favoring those they can control in the team, but others, if you give opinion contradicting them, they frustrate them. And the same question goes to, I am not finding fulfillment in my current engagement despite being in HR. I feel I have more to offer, but I feel like I have reached the limit with my current employer.
So what is the limit? I would like to ask, what's the limit? Is the limit your ability to find fulfillment? Is the limit your ability to impact people the way you would want to impact them? Is the limit your ability to create value for people around you and for yourself? Because in real life, it's very hard to say, reached the limit of creating value, or I've reached the limit of serving people, or I've reached the limit of making a difference in somebody else's life, or I've reached the limit of growing myself. Don't define your limit in a very limited way, because life is so much broader. But sometimes we get tempted to limit ourselves by the way we define what is possible and what's not possible. Now, for that colleague who asked that question, one of the things I would recommend is maybe you need to have a conversation with a coach, somebody who can help you. Coaches use the word of helping you to expand your horizon. The possibilities before us are immense. Sometimes we all need help. Even coaches need help to you can expand the possibilities in front of you and grab it. Now, the question about being in an organization where the leaders are doing unethical things, unprofessional things, promoting people who are less deserving than people who are deserving. I was talking to a group of people 2 weeks ago, and this subject came up a lot. You say, but I can be living my life with a lot of authenticity, a lot of integrity, but people are bypassing me, the people who are living it unauthentically. You know what? There is short-term winning, but there is ultimate winning. You can cheat your way to win in the short term, but I can guarantee you, like hell, it catches up with you so very quickly. The guys who win in the long race are people who have built their blocks one after the other consistently. The guys who built it through crooked ways and all that, ultimately it catches up with you. So you have to make a choice in your life. Do you want that quick one through the improper way, which ultimately breaks down 2 miles along the road, or do you want consistency that takes you all the way? I know what I would choose. Thank you very much, Grace.
Certainly, certainly. Yes, thank you very much. In fact, there's one thing that I have seen as a takeaway, which is, wait, that do not let work define you. You define the work. That is quite profound, and we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for sacrificing to be with us this evening. We really, really appreciate. We've had quite a number of takeaways, and we will be able to share the recording with the team so that then you can also review and probably work to finding your purpose. So I don't know whether you have a parting shot, and then we can call it a night.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. You guys are there at 9 o'clock. This is a long time to be out for learning. Thank you for committing to grow yourselves. I know you wanted to hear about how to grow career and whatever. I went through a slightly different angle, but I think if we want to really make a difference and grow our careers, we don't look enough inside of ourselves. And if we can really focus the light inside of us, usually, as I said already 1,000 times, give out positive energy. Positive energy will give you back what it is. So I want to thank you and to wish all of you the very best as you navigate your journeys of life and your career journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milton, and thank you to you, our audience. Please don't forget to join us on the 9th of March for the International Women's Day Breakfast. This event is actually open for both men and women. We have speakers like Sarah Richardson coming in, and our theme is the labor of love and leadership. And part of discussions will be a woman's worth in a man's world and where is my bra. This is happening at Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club at only 4,800 shillings. This I can tell you for a fact. If you're looking to grow and you're looking to shine your light, this is part of the conversations that you need to have. We have male speakers, we also have lady speakers, so it's going to be quite balanced. Because I believe as we celebrate women on International Women's Day, we cannot exist without the men. So we really need to work together and see how to maneuver this world together. So make sure that you join us. And of course, a shout out to our partners, Pathway Solutions, CPF Consulting, El Samia, the Nile Front Cottages, Profiles International, CPF Consulting, among others. You guys are wonderful. Please join our WhatsApp group, Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. Like our Facebook page, Get It Right with the rather Facebook page is the Tara Solutions. Instagram page is the Tara Solutions. This recording and all our other recordings are uploaded on our YouTube channel, which is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. There's a lot of knowledge there, a lot of things that you can take away, a lot of information that you could use. Please log in there and get to understand different areas that we are on a mission to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. So make sure that you can catch up there and also look out for next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we have an East Africa panel discussion about women in leadership, because we're also celebrating International Women's Day on Friday that week. And then the week after that, we're going to be learning public speaking. And then after that, we're going to be learning about choosing your insurance providers, because you need to know what to look out for because you're the negotiators of your insurance. So we have quite a good lineup of topics that are coming your way. Keep it here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. My name is Grace Nzula from Atara Solutions, and we look forward to having you again next week, same time, same place. As we listen to the women in East Africa, it's going to be an interesting conversation. At this point in time, I hope that we have shared the links to our YouTube. I don't know whether Jacinta is there. YouTube link and also our WhatsApp group, so that we can also link you up with whatever it is that we are discussing as we go along. So thank you very much, and you guys have a lovely night. For those of you who are in Nairobi without light, thank you very much for sacrifice. Today is one of those days, but we thank God for being here. Thank you guys, and good night.
Whenever you're sad, carry you around when your arthritis is bad. All I wanna do is grow old with you. L is for the way you look at me. Oh, than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for